Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Hey, today I want to talk about productivity. Now, we all have a lot of things to do, right? We're just like, got too many things to do, too many things on our mind. We're like, how do I find the time? Got 50 things to do and I just don't have time. There's not enough hours in the day, so forth and so on. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you to ask yourself 4 simple questions on how you might improve your time management. But not just time management, also task management. So I'm going to give you the categories of the questions. Automate, eliminate, simplify, amplify. Let's begin with the first one. I want you to look at your day, your sales day, and ask yourself, what am I doing today, or what do I do on a regular basis to close deals or just manage people that I can automate? What can I automate? What are certain things that I'm doing today that I do every day that I can automate? In other words, what can I use to automate my process so I don't have to keep doing it over and over and over again? One of my favorite little automation tools is if you use a CRM like Salesforce.com, InsideSales.com has a plugin where you can record your voicemails that you're going to leave for a customer if you're cold calling. So for example, if I'm cold calling, I can pre-record the message I want to leave in the voicemail. So in other words, it may sound like it's not saving a lot of time because it's only like 15, maybe 30 seconds. But if you had to do 100 calls a day, that is something you'd want to automate, especially if you're leaving the same message on the first contact. And then you can record the second message and the third message. So if I reached out to a customer 3 times, and 3 times I got voicemail, I don't have to repeat it over and over again. I don't have to wait there on voicemail, leave the message. I just hit the play button and it will actually record the message into their voicemail and then immediately switch me over to the next call. And that's a way of automating something that you have to do all the time. So give that some thought. How would you automate something that you do every day just to save you some time? In other words, 30 seconds here, 30 seconds times 100 times 5 days a week times 22 days in a month, you get the idea. Also, second question. First is automate. What can you eliminate? What can you eliminate from your daily process that you really don't need? If you really take a hard look at something, how can I eliminate that? I'll give you one example. During work hours, when you're in the work mode, maybe one of the things you can eliminate is looking at social media. Let's say you're not using it for prospecting of any sort. But, one of the things you can do is, I'm going to eliminate looking at social media. I'll only look at it after, let's say 6 p.m. or whatever it may be. But that's something you can eliminate. Or maybe you're filling out some type of paperwork where you really realize, I don't need to fill this out. I can just do X. So you can eliminate that step in the process. So the first is automate. What can you automate? 2, what can you eliminate? 3, my favorite, what can you simplify? What can you make easier? Look at your process. Look at your process as, how can I simplify this? And it may be that you have to buy some type of software, piece of technology to simplify maybe a 3-step process. Instead of doing 3 steps, if I use this software, I could do it one time. One software package we use allows us to preload all our marketing content into a calendar once for 30 days, and then it'll repeat itself for the next 30 days, and then restart itself the next 30 days again. So we just do it once. We don't have to keep doing it over and over again. So we're still doing it. We're still pumping out content, but we're using software to simplify the process. Number 4, amplify. Maybe there's something you should do more of. In other words, maybe there's something that you should do more of that will actually help you become more efficient. Now, that sounds like a contradiction, but it really isn't. There's certain things that you can do more of that will allow you to actually save more time. For example, what if, after talking to a customer, instead of waiting to the end of the day or after 2 or 3 hours to put your notes in the CRM, why don't you take time to really amplify the content you put in the CRM right after you make the call. And not just put in 2 or 3 items like name, address, title, position, but maybe amplify it by adding maybe some of the things that were mentioned during the conversation. For example, if I'm talking to one of my customers and they say, hey, Victor, I got to get off the phone. I got to take my kid to his football game. I'll say, great. I would then, once I get off the phone, I would put that in the actual CRM. Got off the phone because he had to go actually take his kid to his football game. Now, what do you think will happen on the next call with this gentleman? You know I'm going to bring that up, right? I'm going to say, hey, by the way, the last time we were on the phone, you mentioned your kid was going to a football game. What did he do? How did it go? Did he win? Did he lose? Does he love football? In other words, you can establish a connection. So by amplifying the content within your CRM, you're actually going to sell more faster. Why? Because when you connect with people, guess what? People buy from people they like. We've all heard that. But by being able to connect, by bringing up issues, small items like that, you know what? You may connect faster with a customer and you may get it, yes, that much faster. So think about it again. Look at your day. What can you automate? In your process, in the task you do, what can you automate? And think about that voicemail example. 2, what can you eliminate? Things you don't need to do anymore. You do them out of habit, but you don't really need to do them. Maybe if you investigate why you're filling out a piece of paper, you may find out that they don't really even need that anymore. So again, find things in your tasks that you can eliminate. 3, simplify. What can you make easier? What can you condense? Instead of doing 3 or 4 things, maybe you can condense into one thing and save some time there. Number 4 is amplify. What can I do more of that will save me time or get me more deals in the long run? Focus on those 4 things and you might find out that you have some extra time to do more selling. And that is it for this Sales Influence podcast. As always, I always appreciate your feedback. So again, on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube, let me know what you think. Also, check out my online sales training platform, the Sales Velocity Academy. Go to salesvelocityacademy.com. Check out the new programs. Again, you'll be able to download my books. We got over 40 courses. It's growing every day. So if you're serious about increasing your sales velocity, go to salesvelocityacademy.com. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.
Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.